Welcome to Frank Ranks Week 6. Oh, we got 9 books this time, ranging from really bad to really good. Let's check them out right now and see who's number 1. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And we are going to talk about some comics, what I read this week. And yeah, they definitely range all across the board from barely readable to enjoyable. So let's talk about them. But remember, too, that I am an author myself, so you can check out my books on Amazon.com. Also, my sci-fi, Destiny Aurora, is currently on Audible as well, with a male and female voice. It's lots of fun. And I also have a fantasy book called Tales of Ravenor the Iron Witch. I have comics out there called Lords of L.A., and Destiny Aurora is also turned into a 150-page graphic novel. It's also there. And I'm currently working on Fairy Tales of Terror. I have 3 pages in already, and they are looking really good. Really good. So we have Cinderella being a serial killer and Captain Hook. It's and Tiger Lily from Peter Pan going after them to stop them before the killing spree continues. Lots of fun. All right, so let's jump into these 9 books. And we are going to start out with number 9, the worst book, practically unreadable, Fantastic Four by Ryan North, in the connection to the One World Under Doom current Marvel event that's going on. Why they have Ryan North helming this is beyond me. I was collecting this in the beginning to give it a shot, and let me pull my thing here. I was giving it a shot in the beginning. I collected like the first 5 issues. It was shit. So I jumped back in here because I saw She-Hulk was on the cover. I was like, oh, okay, we got She-Hulk on it. I'll give it a shot, especially with the One World Under Doom. I'm not collecting One World Under Doom because all the events are. I stay away from all events at this point because they're all shit. This one here is. I figured we'd have the Fantastic Four trying to figure out how to stop Doom from controlling the world as Sorcerer Supreme. No. You know what they do in this issue? They have lunch. That's what they're doing. They're having lunch. Forget trying to stop Doom. We're too busy. We're going to have lunch, baby. He makes allegories to today's political things. It's just awful. Just awful. The artwork's decent in it, but the book is just god-awful. Stay away from it. And if you can stay away from the whole event, you're probably better off. All right, number 8. West Coast Avengers by Jerry Duggan. This is not an awful book. It's just not a good book. And we're on issue 4. We have Ultron trying to be a good guy. He divided up, and now he's making cyborgs out of sick people by removing their heads. And the whole premise behind the West Coast Avengers is that they're teaming bad guys with good guys, so it's kind of a half Suicide Squad / Thunderbolts. With Tony leading this thing, it's just not working for me. It's just not working for me. And plus, they are ruining or continuing to ruin Firestar, who I grew up with Spider-Man and Amazing Friends. It's not even the same character anymore. I don't even know what this character is. So I'm probably going to get up to issue 6 and done. But anyway, so that would be number 8. So some of these I read digitally, so I won't have a book to put up, but I'll have the cover on the screen. And the next one is on a sticky note, Hornsby and Halo for number 7. So this is an Image title, and it's about it's kind of like the New Gods type of thing, with Darkseid, where they each gave a child over to the other side. So you have an angel that's being brought up by bad parents and criminal parents or whatever, and the demon hell, hellspawn demon or whatever else child is being raised by ultra good parents. So it's kind of the nature versus nurture type situation, and the story is just not going anywhere. So it's got a decent idea, nothing that's never been done before, but something we haven't seen really recently. But it's just not going far enough. And now they are learning who they are, and they're kind of going after bad guys or whatever. So yeah, it's just mediocre. So digital is the way for me on that one because I didn't really want to pay for the printed one. The next one I also read digitally, Knights versus Samurai. So by the title, you would think that that's an amazing, amazing book. And it is just not. It is just not. But I think the art's decent in it, and it's got a really good idea. And now we have this, Chinese dragon. I think it's Chinese. Because it's the thin, lizard-looking dragon. And he's talking. So it's very little battling at this point, and it's all just a whole lot of talking. And there really isn't a whole lot going on, but the knights and samurai, they tend to understand one another. But suddenly there's a kid that can speak all languages and can speak to everyone. I'm not sure. It was some kind of a magical thing. And that's why there's a lot of talking, because we're introducing this character that's talking to everybody. So, I don't know. It's kind of losing me. It has a really good idea, but I think it's badly executed. Yes, number 5. All right, we're halfway through already. And that would be Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams. Jeremy is a friend of mine. And mostly I like the idea that he came up with the Fractured Lantern thing. I think that's a really decent idea. I'm not a big fan of the Sorrow character. But now we have people throughout the universe exhibiting, because there's no power batteries, they're exhibiting high emotion, which gives them the power of the ring, even though they're not wearing a ring. So I have a lot of problems with how this is being handled with this particular issue, because we have people that are given these powers as if they have a ring, right? But yet they've never wielded a ring. They don't have any training. It's their first day using it. They're making constructs and all this stuff based on pure emotion, but no knowledge. They're sling ringing, or they're ring slinging without having any kind. That's why all of these Green Lanterns go through like a training session. They go through basic training. That's why Kilowog was doing for many years. And so I have a problem with that. The fact that these, people are just using this thing haphazardly and using it against Hal, who has tons of training and years of experience, and they're going toe to toe. I don't buy it. Then on top of that, you have Kyle Rayner and Superboy and Odyssey, I think it is, this time traveler, and they go into the Source Wall to get this Source thing, ball or whatever. And he purposely brings up Indiana Jones to the point where Kyle's wearing a hat, and they have these traps. He's even got the whip. They even have the mine cart from Temple of Doom. And Superboy, they have these big traps, but he just walks through them. I'm like, what's the point? So this was a little bit cringe for me, this issue. So overall, I like where Jeremy goes with it, but this was a little cringe for me. All right, number 4. Absolute Wonder Woman. This is the end of this arc against this big kaiju. I like a lot of it, but I can also tell that Kelly Thompson she's really more missed than hit for the most part. But I could tell that she really didn't lay out this story correctly, because she brings in the lasso in the last issue when we could have introduced this thing far earlier, so it didn't feel like a Duek Moxon things like we just giving her the ability to do what she needs to do immediately. You know, there was no build up to the fact that she needed this thing. It's all just in this issue, so it just feels like, you know, she got through the magic bag and she pulled out exactly what she needed to beat this thing. So she turns into a Medusa from Clash of the Titans version, but a lot bigger, and she turns the thing to stone, and then Trevor has to talk her down, and everything's all back to normal. So I'm going to see where the next storyline goes, but I'm probably going to be dropping this unless she can impress me with a new storyline that's a little bit more grounded, a little more personal. But she gets dropped down into hell or whatever, so maybe even going to talk to Hades for all I know. All right, number 3, Flash Gordon, also by Jeremy Adams. I actually read, both the issues. I have not been reading it and not collecting it, not because Jeremy Adams' writing was bad on it, but because I didn't like the designs for Ming and Aura and the whole thing. They made him very, very alien, almost like the creatures from John Carter, with the 4 arms, except he only has 2. That's exactly what they look like. So they're green. They don't look humanoid. That's the first time Ming's ever looked like that, and I really don't like it. And I know that Jeremy had probably nothing to do with those designs, but it's not clicking with me. Overall, though, I like, Zarkov having this android body, and had them almost about to cut his fingers off or his hand off, and Zarkov comes through the wall. So it has some good action to it. I like that, and of course we have Ming, that he's teamed up with Ming, to get away, and of course Ming is going to backstab him, but so the storyline is good. I just don't like the design, and because I grew up with Flash Gordon, both the comic strips and the movie and all that stuff. So, but overall, the story's good. I like it, but every time I look at Ming, I'm like, what the hell's this? All right, number 2, Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I like, and Dan Mora is great on the art, so the artwork is off the chain on this book. We have this time trapper, which is Doomsday in the future, and that's why he looks like he's very thin and emaciated. And then you have these other aliens come over that are all dressed like he was when he first came to Earth in the green thing. And they want him possibly to be a weapon or possibly to have revenge on. We don't really know. But Superman ends up battling them, and Lois has Zod's powers because of this whole absolute power thing, another event that I stayed away from, and I don't even like the idea behind it. I think Lois needs to change back as quickly as possible. I think they've already drawn it out. This Superwoman thing, drawn it out too far. So I'm looking forward to everything kind of getting back to normal, and the same thing with Aquaman with Mera's powers. I hope that comes back as quick as possible. Okay, and number 1. Remember, this is stuff that I read this week, not stuff that came out this week. And number 1, we have The Fantastic Four by John Byrne. Yes, this is written and drawn by John Byrne, and instead of the Thing, we have She-Hulk almost throughout his entire run. And this is the story of the Baxter Building that had gone into space, created an anomaly, and Nick Fury invites them all onto the helicarrier in space. And Reed gets sucked in, where they fight Blastar, who has the cosmic rod, and he tricks Johnny into throwing the cosmic rod to Annihilus. And Annihilus is now reborn, so we have some big problems going on. Really, really good book. If you haven't read it, I don't know, they probably do a reprint somewhere. But I'm trying to get, the entire John Byrne run. So really, really excellent stuff. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember, too, that I am on Amazon. If you'd like to read anything that I've written, whether it's my comics or Destiny Aurora or Audible for Destiny Aurora, there's a 4-book series there, and Tales of Ravenor the Iron Witch. And get ready for my next Kickstarter, because I am working on a new comic. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. And everybody who put in for Green Hornet, I greatly appreciate that as well. All right, have a good night, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.